K-Media reports that 2023 marks Jimin's remarkable solo debut year, where he dominated various music platforms in Korea and overseas, as he continues to make continuous achievements and unrivaled records in the global music market as a true K-pop frontman. At the start of 2023, we got to see a glimpse of Jimin outside of BTS in a collaboration with one of Jimin's favorite singers from Big Bang. The song Vibe managed to have the highest debut on the Billboard Hot Trending Songs daily and weekly charts. Vibe debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 at 76. This was their first time debuting on this chart under their own names. This was also Jimin's first time debuting on this chart as a composer. Vibe was also the highest debut on Melon Daily chart by a BTS member since the chart reform. Vibe also received the 10th highest first 24 hours unique listeners on Melon in 2023. This makes the song the only song by a BTS member to enter the top 10 in 2023 overall. Now comes the exciting start of Jimin's solo debut. The pre-release single Set Me Free Part 2. It was the fastest solo song to reach 100 number ones on iTunes worldwide, breaking Jimin's own record. It also set the record as the biggest 2023 solo song debut by a K-pop act on Melon. It also had the highest debut for a Korean solo song on Spotify Global as well as Spotify US, UK, and Korea. After 10 years, this was also the highest debut song by a K-soloist on the UK Big Top 40 chart. This song also had a major success in Japan as Jimin became the first Korean soloist to reach number 1 on both weekly and daily Oricon singles chart. No other Korean soloist had achieved this since this chart was first established in 1968. Set Me Free also debuted at number 30 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. He joined Psy as the only Korean soloist to chart a solo song within the top 30. Set Me Free also debuted number 1 on Digital Songs sales chart with the biggest debut sales week of 2023. When the main track of the Face album Like Crazy was released, it broke the record for the biggest debut for a solo song by a K-pop act in Spotify global history. It was also the highest charting song by a K-pop soloist in Spotify US history. Jimin also made history when he was the first Korean soloist and second Asian soloist to chart number 1 on Spotify's global song chart. He joined groups BTS and Blackpink as the only Koreans to do it. Jimin, of course, also made history when Like Crazy debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 chart at number 1. He was the very first Asian soloist to debut straight at number 1. Jimin's Like Crazy was also officially certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for selling over 1 million units in the US. It's the first solo song by a K-soloist in the last decade, and the second overall to be able to be certified platinum. Jimin is now the first and only Asian K-solo artist in history to have all these feats. Like Crazy achieved the biggest week for US pure song sales in 2023. It is estimated to have garnered 254,000 in its debut week, the third biggest week ever for any artist in the past decade. Right now, Jimin's Like Crazy has surpassed 890 million streams on Spotify. In only 269 days, Like Crazy broke the record for the biggest debut streaming year for a Korean song in Spotify's history. Like Crazy is also the most streamed Korean song on Spotify in 2023. Like Crazy now ranks among the top 10 most streamed songs released in 2023. It's the only Korean song in the overall top 10. Like Crazy also extends its record as the longest charting solo song by a K-soloist on the Spotify USA Daily Top Song chart and Spotify Weekly Top Songs in USA. Like Crazy has now spent 330 days on the Spotify Global Daily Top Songs chart. It extends its record as the longest charting solo song by a Korean soloist. It's also the second longest charting song by a K-soloist on the chart. On the Billboard Global 200 chart and Billboard Global excluding US chart, Like Crazy still extends its record as the longest charting song by a Korean soloist. Like Crazy was also the most streamed solo song by a Korean soloist on Melon in 2023, and the 9th overall. The whole Face album earned the biggest sales debut for a Korean album by a soloist in Japan's history on the weekly album chart with 225,000 copies sold. With the Face album, Jimin also became the first solo artist to reach 1 million first-day album sales on the Hanteo chart and the Circle chart. Jimin became the fastest million-seller act as a soloist. At the time, Jimin's album also had the biggest debut by a K-pop act on the Spotify Global charts in 2023. Face also debuted number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart with 164,000 units sold. This is the biggest debut and highest charting album by a Korean soloist in the chart's history. On Melon, Face was the most streamed 2023 album by a Korean soloist. Face is also the highest charting album by a Korean soloist in this year's United World Charts Global Year-End Album Chart. Face is the first and only K-pop album to chart #1 on worldwide iTunes chart for 15 days. With Face debuting at #2 on the Billboard Vinyl Albums chart, it ties as the highest-ranking album by a Korean soloist in the chart's history. It's also the first album by a Korean act to reach #1 on iTunes US in 2024. Face extends its record by Korean soloist on the Billboard World Albums chart as the longest charting at #1 and overall longest charting album. In 2023, Face album also recorded the most retail album sales on Circle Chart's retail album chart since this was created in 2019. This makes Face the best-selling album by a soloist on this chart in Circle Chart history. From K-pop columnist Isaac Choi's recent piece K-pop, cynicism increased and fantasies decreased. While big entertainment companies such as HYBE have been promoting their unprecedented quarterly sales throughout the year like horse racing broadcasts, total album sales, the key performance indicator, are measured differently from the actual sales. According to Circle Chart's rules, there are 34 unique albums that sold more than 1 million copies, but this is based on the number of albums shipped by the company. According to the retail album chart that reflects the number of actual albums sold from retail stores, there are only 8 albums that sold over 1 million copies. Jimin's Face retail album sales ratio is 87.82%, the closest to unity of all albums in the top 10 of the Circle retail album chart. In other words, Jimin's album had the smallest difference between shipments of albums and actual sales, making him the actual best-selling Korean soloist. After a successful solo debut, Jimin also did a small feature in a song in Fast and Furious 10 called Angel Part 1, which makes him the only Korean soloist to have 2 OSTs featured in Hollywood movie. This song debuted number 65 on the Billboard 100 chart, which made Jimin the fastest Asian artist to have 4 songs on this chart. Jimin also set the record as the first Korean soloist to have 2 songs chart multiple weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in the last decade. He also had the most entries by a Korean soloist on the UK singles and download charts. And lastly, at the end of 2023 for Christmas, Jimin once again released a gift for fans called Closer Than This. In Christmas time, this song managed to chart at #1 on its debut week's Billboard Digital Song Sales chart. Jimin now ties as the Korean soloist with the most #1 hits on Billboard's Digital Song Sales chart in history. Closer Than This is also Jimin's 7th song to achieve #1 on the iTunes charts in 100 countries. Jimin became the first and only soloist to achieve this feat. As for award shows, Jimin was the most nominated artist at MAMA 2023 Awards with 8 solo nominations, and together with BTS 13 nominations. He won Best Male Artist of 2023. Jimin became the first and only Korean soloist to be nominated in the Top K-pop Album and Top Global K-pop Artists categories at the Billboard Music Awards. He was also the most nominated K-soloist in 2023. Jimin joined BTS and became the second Asian act to get a nomination in the Top Selling Songs category at the Billboard Music Awards. He's the first and only soloist to ever achieve it. In Melon Music Awards, Jimin was nominated for the Album of the Year award and won the King of K-pop MMA 2023 plaque, only solo artist in history to receive this. He now has 5 solo appreciation plaques. Jimin was nominated at the 38th Golden Disc Awards for the Best Digital Song with Like Crazy and Vibe. Jimin was also nominated in 5 categories at the 2023 China Year-End Awards. Jimin won the main prize at the 33rd Seoul Music Awards. Jimin was nominated for Artist of the Year and Global Artist Award at the 2023 Hanteo Music Awards. He took home the Artist of the Year Award and the Global Artist Awards for South America and Oceania. Billboard, as well as various other platforms like Consequence, Sound of Music, Rolling Stone and Record Academy named Like Crazy and Face in their year-end lists of best song, albums and records. Jimin also appeared in the Time magazine The Year in Review edition. BTS Jimin is the first member of the hit band to have a solo #1 hit, a synth-pop track that aches at not being able to get beyond a lost love. Jimin's Billboard year-end 2023 achievements include being 193rd on Billboard 200. Face's first and only album by a K-soloist to enter chart in history. 5th on Digital Song Sales chart. Like Crazy is first and only song by an Asian soloist to enter top 5 in history. First and only Korean song to enter top 5 in history. 6th on Digital Song Sales Artist chart. Jimin is highest-ranking K-soloist in history. 61st on Global 200. Like Crazy is highest-ranking solo song by a K-soloist in 2023. Highest-ranking Korean song by a K-soloist in history. 46th on Global excluding US chart. Like Crazy is highest-ranking solo song by a K-soloist in history. Highest-ranking Korean song by a K-soloist in history. 7th on World Albums Artists chart. Jimin is only K-soloist on the chart in 2023. 5th on World Albums chart. faces highest-ranking album by a K-soloist in history. 13th on Billboard year-end entries chart, Jimin has the most number of entries in a single year for a K-soloist on the Billboard year-end chart in history. Jimin extended his record as the first and only soloist to hit number 1 on Spotify Weekly Top Artists South Korea chart. Jimin also is the only soloist to have charted at number 1 on Spotify South Korea Daily Top Artists chart for 226 days, and Daily Top Song chart for 180 days now. In 2023, Jimin became the first and only soloist to debut multiple songs at number 1 on Bug's Korean music app. In 2023, Jimin also dominated YouTube and became the only K-pop act to have 3 music videos crossing over 100 million views. With Like Crazy topping Deezer Top 100 chart, Jimin now is the first and only Korean act to chart at number 1 in Deezer worldwide chart history. Jimin also has surpassed remarkable 2 billion streams across all solo song credits on his official Spotify profile. Now let's talk about Jimin's major impact in other fields, starting with fashion. As you know, in 2023 Jimin became the global ambassador for 2 major brands, Dior and Tiffany & Co. With Jimin, in Dior's entire history of 31 years of being in the stock market, Dior's stock price peaked at the highest they have ever been after they announced Jimin as their ambassador. He also pulled the biggest crowd that Dior and Paris Fashion Week has ever seen. Jimin has also started a new trend, using Dior stars as a bag decoration as seen in his airport looks. Media reports, female fans of Jimin started to shop in the men's section of the stores specifically to get the silver stars that Jimin had. Jimin's ability to consistently reinvent fashion norms with such ingenuity never fails to amaze his admirers. Economist, a financial news agency in Korea, reported that Dior posted a record-high annual revenue of over 1 trillion won or $746 million for the first time in its 27 years of operations in South Korea in 2023. Dior is now one of only 3 luxury brands in South Korea to earn more than 1 trillion won annually in revenue. Jimin has graced the cover of 13 magazines with 26 distinct covers in 2023 alone. And at the start of 2024, he already has 3 covers on Harper's Bazaar Japan. Not only did Jimin top the Billboard Hot 100 as the first Korean soloist in history, he also once again helped a whole industry. News reported that the stock price of the entertainment industry rose following news of BTS Jimin topping Billboard Hot 100 for the first time as a K-solo. So no wonder he was searched up the most. On December 31, 2023, the South Korean media outlet Korean Economy reported RSN's revelation about the increase in mentions of BTS during Jimin's release of his solo album Face in March and gradually decreasing after that. It mentioned that the number of BTS mentions decreased by approximately 52.3% compared to the previous year. The analysis indicated that BTS-related terms peaked when Jimin revealed his solo debut album in March during promotional activity. However, mentions gradually declined after the Like Crazy singer's promotion came to an end and increased a little again only when the last members enlisted for mandatory military service by the year's end. Fans were also anticipating Jimin's production diary documentary, so when it finally came out at the end of October, it was viewed by around 510,000 people, and those are only the paid views. So just like that, he got around 11 million euros, once again showcasing his boyism. Since Jimin's birthday is a huge event where many people gather and boost Seoul's and Busan's local economy, the Busan local government plans to form an official task force to manage safety during Jimin's birthday week in the next year and years after that. The first idol generating so much traffic that the local government needs to get involved. They don't call him Busan Prince and Korea's favorite son for nothing. Think about how insane Jimin's power is that the BTS advertised crunchy chocolate bar with his theme has to be kept behind the counter of the Japanese store Don Quixote and sold 1 chocolate bar per person because otherwise they would always be sold out. In my other videos I have talked about the popularity the places get after Jimin visits. This time, after Jimin visited a Japanese restaurant Coco, his table is now so popular that the restaurant has implemented a ticketing system. There are even reports of a 7-hour wait time for a seat at the table. And also once again Jimin's impact on the globalization of K-food was highlighted in a case study by Harvard University Graduate School of Business. The exports of Korean ramen was calculated to exceed a record high of 1 trillion won in 2023, the highest ever. After BTS member Jimin ate spicy buldak stir-fried noodles on a YouTube live broadcast, the Spicy Noodle Challenge, in which people upload videos of themselves trying spicy ramen, became popular among overseas fans. Back in 2022, Samyang Foods even thanked Jimin for helping them build a new factory. Just think about how insane this is, especially taking into account how short were Jimin's debut album promotion. He does not have the same industry support that a lot of these big-name artists have, and yet Jimin's name shows up next to theirs frequently. And the fact that he's one of those celebrities who tend to be chronically offline, and yet he still manages to bring in revenue and buzz for a lot of companies he's associated with.